Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another Instant Deck. So today is Tuesday, which means Type 2 or Standard Tuesday, and we've done it. We found the mythical Green-Red Werewolves deck that actually performed on a tournament level. This is Green-Red Werewolves took Ross Kincaid to a top 8 finish at SCG Standard IQ, so congrats to Ross on their finish with the deck. A quick reminder before we break it all down, if you enjoy this deck and you want to see it made into videos, take a minute, click the like button, the subscribe button, leave a comment, anything you can do to support your deck, because whichever deck is most popular gets a shot at being made into videos next week. So, Green-Red Werewolves is a weird tribe, and kind of the payoff, I guess, for going Werewolf Tribal, at least as far as creatures are concerned, are the rares. So we have Gyre Reach Bandit, which, like a lot of werewolves, suffers from the werewolf variance problem. On its front half, it's not very good. The best werewolves ever printed, the best flip cards ever printed, are good on their front half, and then even better on their back half. Gyre Reach is kind of meh on the front half, but very strong on the back half. So it's a 3-2 with haste on the front half. If you flip it around, it makes all your werewolves transform when they enter the battlefield, which can lead to some pretty sweet synergies with, like, Ulrich of the Carlin Horde. You play it, pump something up, giving it +4/+4, immediately flip it, fight something else. A very powerful effect, so Gyre Reach can do some cool things, but on its front half, it's just a kind of below-the-curve 3-drop. And then we have Silver for Partisan, which is a way to protect your wolves and werewolves. If your opponent declarations in stone, or casts a removal spell, or Ruinous Path, or whatever, a Grasp of Darkness on one of your wolves, you're going to get a 2/2 wolf for your trouble, so it kind of makes it a little less appealing for your opponent to throw their targeted removal at your werewolves. As far as the rest of the curve, the deck is fairly aggro. It's sort of a mid-range aggro deck, not super aggressive, but it does have the 1-drop, so you get a couple Kessig Prowlers, a 2-powered 1-drop, where you want to be with an aggro deck, Village Messenger, 1/1 with haste on its front side, 2/2 with menace on its back side, so again, pretty high variance, but on the cusp of being playable stats for a 1-drop in Standard. And then the best werewolves in Standard, and these are pretty clearly the best because they see play even outside of werewolf decks. The 2-drops are insane in this deck. Duskwatch Recruiter is a very, very powerful card, to the point where it sees play in Modern in some decks. It generates card advantage as you cycle through your deck, can flip around to a 3/3, and Lambholt Pacifist is just huge for its mana cost. 3/3 for 2. If you flip it around, it's a 4/4, so just very above the curve stats-wise. So these are probably the best werewolves in the entire deck. So to play Werewolf Tribal, we need a real payoff, and Gyre Reach and Ulrich and Silverfur, those aren't quite there. So what's the reason to restrict our deck to werewolves? Well, the biggest one is Howlpack Resurgence. We've seen Always Watching be close to a standard staple as a 3-mana Anthem effect, and just looking at the card, I would argue that Howlpack Resurgence is probably just as powerful, maybe even more powerful, as a 3-mana Anthem. Of course, it requires you to only play wolves and werewolves to really get full benefit from it, but it's a very powerful effect. So it has flash, so you can use it like a combat trick, maybe get some blowouts during combat, and then it gives all your wolves and werewolves +1/+1, and it gives them trample to make sure you're pushing through that damage. Hallowed Moonlight is the werewolf removal spell, another reason to play the deck. A little bit of variance involved, like most werewolf spells, because if you don't have creatures, it doesn't do anything. But it's a good way to shoot down a Smuggler's Copter, or even a huge creature in the late game, because it deals damage equal to the power of all your wolves to whatever creature you target. Blossoming Defense is more removal protection, plus it can work sort of like a removal spell. Your opponent blocks, you pump your creature up, maybe you get a profitable trade. And then backing up all these creatures, we have some powerful top-end planeswalkers. Nissa anthems up your team, makes a steady stream of chump blockers. Arlen Cord, on point flavor-wise, as the werewolf planeswalker, can make some 2/2s, flips around, gives you a lightning bolt, pumps up your creatures, and then a single Sky Sovereign, more removal, a huge flying threat. Can also use it to block flyers, which is kind of nice if you're worried about Archangel Avacyn and Smuggler's Copters. Give the deck some amount of defense in the air. In the mana base, we get some green-red duels. We get some basic lands to round things out. As far as the sideboard, we get some more interesting werewolf effects. Spirit of the Hunt is essential to the deck for surviving things like Radiant Flames, Hallowed Moonlight for more removal, a Hermit of Natternolls to protect against counterspell decks, basically let it sit out. Whenever your opponent casts something during your turn, you get a card. It's kind of the Werewolf voice of Resurgence, not nearly as powerful, but a similar effect in punishing decks that want to play at instant speed and cast things on your turn. Silver for Partisans and more Aldrich to kind of customize your Werewolf package. Uncaged Fury as a potentially game-winning pump spell, giving something double strike. Clip Wings deals with Emeralds, deals with Avacins, and Natural States for Smugglers, Copters, Stasis Snares, that kind of stuff. So that is Green-Red Werewolves for Standard, and that's been our Instant Deck Tech for today. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you soon.